This is the Our Auto Expert Podcast. Find us on air, online, on mobile, and on your smart speaker. Please subscribe at ourautoexpert.com.
Our Auto Expert. Our Auto Expert. Our Auto Expert. Our Auto Expert.
Now, here's the host of Our Auto Expert,
Our Auto Expert,
Nick Miles.
Locally created, nationally celebrated, from the northwest to the southeast. This is the world's car radio show. If it has a throttle, we'll feature it on air, online, on smartphone, or on smart speaker. This is where our auto expert lives, and 2 million Americans get their automotive news daily. I'm your host, Nick Miles, along with truck girl Jen. You probably already heard that Larry King passed away. Do you know what he used to drive? Just take a wild guess at what Larry King used to drive.
Cadillac convertible.
Oh, you're on the right track, but you're wrong.
Of course.
Why does it have to be a convertible? With hair like that, Larry King probably didn't drive a convertible, just saying. It might have blown off.
I don't know. Well,
just another guess.
another guess.
You're very close with a Cadillac.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, an Escalade?
No, well, that would be a Cadillac, wouldn't
Well, you said close with
Another
a Cadillac.
brand. Another brand.
A Buick.
Oh, you're just like circling it right now.
Oh, Chrysler.
No. Oh, God, God, Jordan got it right. Go on.
What was it,
no,
Jordan?
don't tell her. Come on.
Come on, Jordan.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Oh.
Come on, what is it?
I don't know. I didn't really.
A Lincoln.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
it's a Lincoln.
Okay.
Yeah, Larry King used to drive a Lincoln. So we posted
A
on our
convertible?
Facebook site, Lincoln lost another owner today.
Oh, it's so sad.
It is sad. But of course Larry King drove a Lincoln. What else would he drive? It's so obvious. Just look at him. He's a Lincoln owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't really psychoanalyze him.
You rode in an electric car today, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you didn't like my driving.
Oh, God.
That's not usually unusual. Every week's like that. I mean, to be honest with you don't like my driving any week, so
No.
that's not different.
No, it's pretty great when you brag to the Starbucks girl that, yes, I drive like crazy. I was just sitting there going, yes, he
No, I did that for your benefit because you
okay.
complain. Unless I drive. Well, to be honest with you, Jen, you drive like a crazy person too.
Nuh-uh.
But yeah, you do.
Not me.
Yeah, you do. If you don't have phone books to sit on, you drive like a crazy
Yeah, well,
person.
if you don't go, 0 to 60 in like 15 less than a second, then...
And less than a second?
yeah, less than a
then-
second.
Apparently Jen is now providing her own sound effects for the show. When you have a vehicle that goes 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, 5 seconds or less, you need to just make sure it still does it every time you get in the car.
Yeah. Green light, red light, green light, red
Do you
light.
know what I noticed is that I don't have a level 2 charger at my house. I have to charge off the regular 110 volt charger. I'm getting one. I'm getting a level 2 charger put in my house for the electric cars that keep coming into the new studio as well from ChargePoint. But I've been using some of the public level 2 chargers.
Yes.
And depending on what the temperature is outside, we all know this. Everybody knows this if they drive electric vehicles. But it changes every time I charge it up. Even if it goes to 100%, it tells me a different range on the
it's
car.
so cold.
Yeah, the temperature. Today it was 189 miles. And yesterday it was like 200 and something miles because the temperature is so different. This crazy, you know that. I know that. I know the temperature changes the distance, but it surprises you when you charge the car up and you unplug it and go, really? Is that all I have? All right. Let's talk about what's on the show today because it is a packed show. Old guys are video guys. Didn't know if you knew that, but they are. I play video games all the time because I'm on TV all the time. I don't necessarily watch a lot of television, and I'm on radio all the time. So my escape is video games. We're going to be talking to Shad Balch from Chevrolet about the fact that the Stinger is coming to Forza Horizon Stingray. I said Stingray. Stingray, not the Stinger. The Stingray, the Corvette Stingray is coming to Forza Horizon 4 as an update. Mark Gilles is talking about how VW is getting into the cloud business. We're going to talk about the CES tech automotive stuff that came to our eyes this week. Miriam Joie is going to join us. John Quinn talking about the BMW 4 Series. It has a new grille and it looks like an angry rabbit. I don't care what anybody says. Vince joining us to talk about Stellantis, and then that's, by the way, that's what FCA became. They changed their name. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles changed their name last weekend to Stellantis. And talk about Amazon Alexa and how that's going into their vehicles. Anton Wahlman joining us, and we're going to talk about some of the cool cars we've been driving this week. But hold your horses, everybody. Shad Balch is here from Chevrolet to talk about the new Corvette Stingray going into Forza Horizon 4. Shad, are you a video gamer?
I am now.
All right. The mantra is changed. I actually tend to play a lot of first-person shooter games because it helps me not be so angry, I think. I'm not the only one, though. Like, a lot of auto journalists play. I have friends online. I'm not going to out them publicly because I'm not sure how public it is, but just say some friends from Edmonds who play, and we play online. We play the same games quite often. But I'm not very good at racing games, just because, especially the track games. What?
I am the same way. Unless I'm in a simulator, like a real simulator, I'm okay. But I'm awful.
On video games?
Yes.
I hit the wall all the time.
I spin out all the time.
Yeah.
I go too fast around corners.
It's not like, I think the feedback, you don't, because when you have a controller in your hand, unless you have the whole setup, which is, I don't know, $2,000 when you buy the steering wheel and all the bits and pieces. When you do that, I hit the wall all the time. Have you played some of these games in depth, Shad? And how well do you do when you play racing games on the computer?
I have, and I got to tell you, it's just like you were saying. The more equipment that you can load up in your living room, the more realistic the game becomes, and then the more addictive it becomes. But then at some point, I'm just going to go hop on the actual Corvette and drive it, right?
You see, you're lucky. You have the opportunity to do that. My biggest problem is if I get into these games too much, I'm going to be spending all this money on shifters and dashes in my games room and racing seats and all that sort of thing. I mean, it's different. I don't have a Corvette Stingray like Shad does sitting in my garage.
But you could have one.
I know I could have one. I'm not allowed to have any more cars. I already bought my amount of cars this year.
That'll change.
But ultimately, I could go jump in the real one. The Forza, I noticed this. I was looking at the website which announces the Stingray, and I can see several new cars coming this year, including the BMW Z4. They calls it Rare. They also have the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am SD455. They call that Rare. There is the Bugatti Chiron. They call that Legendary. That's the 2018 version. The 1970 Ford GT70. They call that Legendary. And then there is the season event 2020 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray Coupe, and they call that Epic. Epic. How did you get an Epic title? Did you guys have to fork over cash or what? I mean, that's pretty cool to get an Epic title in the game.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. That's sort of like the coveted Holy Grail when you get a label like that in a video game, in a real life simulated video game like the level of Forza is in terms of popularity and use. It's pretty remarkable, and we're pretty proud of it.
Yeah, it's also looks like, and I've only read like a couple pages of the press release, but it also looks like you have to get through pretty much the game and win everything to be able to drive it. So you got to drive a lot of things, starting off with which looks like the most common car, the 1965 Morris Mini Traveler, which doesn't look much fun to drive at all on a racetrack. And then you have to get through all the vehicles to get all the way up to be able to race it. So you have to win pretty much every title. It might just be easier to go out and spend your money and buy a new one. To be honest, the amount of time you'd have to put in,
we were getting a kick out of it because the game does make you go through several different levels, and I think it's called the Find New Roads track that you have to get through in order to get to the car itself, which is very interesting because you're up against some of these, exotic Italian, European-made supercars that cost so much more in real life than what the Corvette costs. But yet online, it's not just handed to you.
Yeah. And it's probably in the same thing in real life. I mean, it's not just handed to you in real life. You have to do a little bit of work for it, and which is exactly how life should be as well. Did you guys have to go through quite a lot of data handover to the Forza team at Microsoft to actually have them program it in? Because I'm sure the car responds pretty similarly in the game than it does in real life, because you had to make it semi-realistic, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is what the value of these games brings, is the real-life aspect to it. And we had to work a lot behind the scenes to give the programmers over at Xbox all the information they need to be able to computer model the vehicle in all the different settings. And if you played Horizon 4 over the Forza game, you'll know that one of the biggest features they have is that they change seasons. And so every time you log into the game, there's the potential for there to be a completely new environment for the vehicle that you get to experience. So it keeps you sharp in terms of your gaming skills. You can play by yourself. You can play with multiplayer. And it's quite remarkable the way that they're able to take our computer data and turn it into what appears to be a real-life vehicle. I mean, you look at the photos, and you have to see the disclosure at the bottom to confirm whether or not this is an actual picture of a real car or if it's all digitized. It's that good.
Yeah. It looks really good, and I have to tell you that I have the game downloading onto my Xbox Series X right now at home. So
it'll take you like 5 years to get to the vet?
No. Well, it might do. But ultimately, I know I have a guy I can call called Shad in L.A. who could send me one if I get that desperate. Although I
think we need to race.
Yeah. It's on.
You just said it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's on.
We have to have a Twitch party or something so everyone can see it.
I'll video it.
The game is available now. Forza Horizon 4. There is loads of updates for it. You might have to play it a little bit before you get granted the ability to race the brand new 2020 Corvette Stingray Coupe, but it is an epic label in this game, and maybe Shad and I will be twitching our race together, but I assure you, my friend, I'm going to have to practice a little bit first because I don't want my backside kicked, which I know will happen if we do it immediately. So there you go. Shad, it's always a great time talking to you. I'm looking forward to playing the game, and anybody else who hasn't played it, go out and play it so you can get your Corvette Stingray. We'll be back.
You're listening to Our Auto Expert.
Catch up with previous episodes of the show at our website, ourautoexpert.com. You can hear all past shows, see automotive videos, and read insider car stories about your next ride. Our Auto Expert is where 2 million Americans get their automotive news daily. You'll find it all at ourautoexpert.com. Whether you like it or not, it's part of your life. The cloud, it exists. It stores much of your life, much of your data. And one thing I like about Volkswagen is they do not try and reinvent the wheel. They went to some of the biggest companies to help them harness the cloud and use it as part of their company, because we're all going to have to invite the cloud into our cars because the cars use data and the cloud already exists. So Volkswagen are now harnessing the cloud, and they're using Seattle as one of their base cities to harness the cloud in. To tell us more about it, Mark Gilles joins us on the phone. So Mark, I remember going to a Volkswagen event in Napa Valley several years ago when Volkswagen were hiring many programmers from the banking industry to help them harness more digital aspects of the car and do it securely to make sure that there couldn't be any hacking. And that's probably more the case now that you're harnessing the cloud for your vehicles, because you're going to have millions of vehicles on the road that are going to be using the cloud to stream data to and from the vehicles. So not only do you have to make it secure, but you also have to use some people who know how to harness the cloud and do that. And you've done both of those things because we can't really avoid the cloud being part of our lives. And in car means that that's going to happen. You know, it's an unavoidable truth, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I was literally down in our engineering and planning centre looking at our ID4s, our press cars rolling in and having a discussion where actually we have to get internet service for the cars to function fully. So for things like the navigation on board and stuff like that, you have to be connected. You know, for instance, if you want to know where to go to get a charger, all of that information is having to be streamed back and forwards to the car, basically. It's not just a case of, you know, putting in a CD and like in the old days, and seeing when the data comes up nowadays, it's a lot more sophisticated than that. And you're looking at data, in real time on locations and things like charging stations, as I say, and even things like where do you want to go for your next meal or whatever, when we're allowed to do that kind of thing again, of course.
Yes, when we're allowed to do it. One of the things that's sort of interesting too is that we used to rely on our phones for a lot of this stuff, but things change so quickly with data in software in the vehicles as well. You might find something that doesn't work the way it was planned to work, and you need to update it. You can't really wait for the person's next dealer service. You need to do it immediately for one reason or the other. You can sort of set it to update overnight, and you can have the problem fixed, as somebody's sleeping. You can update it with an over-the-air update. So it's an immediate fix to something you might have had to wait 3 months for.
Yeah, we will have over-the-air software ability in the future. It's not there right at this moment, but going forward, that's definitely going to happen. And one of those things where we can see in the future where you buy a car and you have X number of features on it, and you decide you really need some more features, and you can actually buy those and then have them implemented over the air, as it were. So I think that's going to change buying habits. I think with vehicles, you can buy a car potentially. You can't even buy a car nowadays almost without navigation, because virtually everything has App Connect or Android Auto on it. So you've got the navigation that comes from your phone as well. So I think you're just going to see a lot more features that are available over the air in the future, and I think you can even harness some of the data from the vehicle. The manufacturer can do that and use that to optimize and help develop things like batteries with longer range. Because if you've got and actually, to be honest, Tesla's been doing that for a while, and it helps them. They have data on how their users actually use their EVs, and they know how much they go into the battery and all that kind of stuff, so they can then optimize how much of the battery's capability you can use before you need to get it charged, for instance.
Right. Why, in the couple minutes we have left, tell us why that you chose Seattle as your hub.
There's a very big company based there called Microsoft.
Right.
So obviously, and the cloud, it's in collaboration with Microsoft.
Right.
But obviously, it's sort of cloud city, isn't it? Really, right. At the end of the day, it's one of the computing hubs in North America, and it's a great place to live, obviously. So it's one of those things like getting software developers in Silicon Valley. You have to go to where the expertise and the people are. It's kind of difficult to get people to move from Seattle to, say, Virginia or Auburn Hills, Michigan, when you're based out there, your life's out there. It's a great place to live, and I think it's the same as well with Silicon Valley. You have to go to where the talent is at the end of the day.
Right. Last question. ID4, first car to really harness this cloud-based, or is it going to be in other vehicles that are pre-existing?
The first car, I guess, where we've been, the ID cars, the ID3 and ID4 are the first of our cars where we really are reliant on the connected world, I guess, is what I'd say. But you're going to see all of the cars, in every manufacturer's fleet relying on these features. I say with EVs, it's kind of even more important because, if you're driving a regular car and you're getting a bit low on gas, there's a lot of gas stations around. If you're driving an EV and, the vehicle says you've got 20% range left and you've still got 50 miles to go or whatever, it's really useful to know where the nearest fast charger is. So that's the kind of functionality and capability that, the cloud gives you that you don't have with the sort of old-fashioned operating systems on vehicles.
Yeah, and for someone that has some electric cars in their fleet now, I'm thankful for you pointing out where those fast chargers are, because otherwise I'd be in serious trouble. Mark Gilles from VW, always glad to know that you're at the cutting edge of technology. Stand by, we've got more Our Auto Expert on the way.
You're listening to the Our Auto Expert podcast.
This is Our Auto Expert radio show on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. You can start a conversation with us, ask us a car question, just direct messages at Our Auto Expert. Our Auto Expert is where 2 million Americans get their automotive news daily. I have been lucky enough to be driving the brand new Toyota Venza. It's interesting, I did a bit of research, and Toyota and Lexus have 14 hybrid and alternative powered vehicles on the market now. They sort of crept up on us during COVID and during the last year or so. I didn't realize how many vehicles they have out there. Of course, they have the Mach-E, which is their hydrogen vehicle, but all the rest are hybrid or plug-in hybrid vehicles. And the interesting thing about the Venza, it's about 6 years ago, was on the market. It was sort of this culmination of 3 different vehicles. It was part Camry, it was sort of part Highlander, and then part something else in the middle, all sort of put together. It wasn't very nice on the inside, but I did love the outside very much. I think it was a little bit too early in its life cycle. It was this sort of minivan SUV crossover that had some characteristics as a car. When I looked at the new Venza on the outside for the first time, this vehicle looks like not a Toyota. Looks much more like it should come out of the Lexus family. And I'm wondering if perhaps it started its life as a Lexus and then ended up being a Toyota. However, it's definitely got this exquisite look on the outside of the vehicle. It came out during the middle of the pandemic, and so a lot of people don't really know about it, and they haven't really got their feet wet with the new Venza. But it only comes in the format of a hybrid, so it's not available in a gasoline. So if you're just looking for a gasoline crossover, you're out of luck. It doesn't come in a gasoline version. If you are just looking for a two-wheel drive vehicle, you're out of luck there. It comes in only an all-wheel drive version. It has an electric motor in the back axle, which powers the back wheels, which makes it into that all-wheel drive. 3 electric motors and a 2.5-liter gasoline engine up front. Now, luxury on the inside is interesting, but I talked to Russ Humberson over at the Beaverton Toyota dealership, and Russ was telling me that the Stargazer roof. Have you seen the Stargazer roof in this, Jen?
No, I haven't been in this
So
vehicle.
it has a panoramic sunroof, and it has what they call the Stargazer headline or Stargazer roof, and you push a button, and it goes opaque. So you have the sunroof, and when you look out, you can push a button, and it sort of goes to frosted glass.
Oh, I
It's
gotcha.
electronic, and it becomes frosted glass. I saw this first on a BMW product, but Toyota grossly underestimated how popular this would be. And they didn't make enough of them with the Stargazer roof.
Yeah.
So now everybody that sees the new Venza orders them. And Russ was saying, people come in, they see the Stargazer roof, and they go, "Hi, I'd like that." And he goes, "They're all sold with the Stargazer roof. We don't have." So if you want a Stargazer roof in the new Venza, you need to order it. They start at a very reasonable, around $32,000. Reasonable price for a 2-row, 5-seater, very nicely, about the RAV4 size, maybe slightly larger. It's sort of between the RAV4 and the Highlander, so it's slightly in between.
Is it kind of more like a wagon look? To me, it looks like kind of wagon.
No, it's really a coupe. It's
Is
a
it
coupe
really a
SUV.
coupe? Okay.
It's a coupe SUV. But it's slightly larger than the RAV4. It's the same width, and it's about 6 inches longer than the RAV4,
Okay.
but it's slightly smaller than the Highlander.
I love the RAV4.
Well, this is sort of like a bigger RAV4, a more exquisite, maybe too exquisite for you, Jen. It may be too, ballroom gown for you.
Maybe.
Okay. 12-inch screen on the inside. Looks amazing on the inside. You want to take a look at the pictures. They did a really good job of making this upper class. But starting at $32,000, you can get it to about 44, 45, maybe, if you check every box.
See, that's my problem. Like you, we check every box.
Oh, God. Lord help me.
When they say starting
Lord
at, I
help
just
me.
automatically add 10 grand.
I can tell you, I need to be protected by a crucifix every time I go into a dealership. I just can't stop myself.
I know.
I need-
You in the mini dealership that one day, I was like, okay, Nick,
I probably need some kind of therapy at car dealerships because I can't help myself. I really can't. I mean, just, check that box. Oh, I want that. Oh, it comes with special nuts on the wheels. Oh, I'll have that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I absolutely can't help myself.
That's how I am at a dealership, too. It's like, I want to test drive that. Ooh, I want to look.
I'm weak.
Can I have that?
I'm weak. I love to look at the images of it online. It has a quite nice trunk space, too. The grille, of course, is very beautiful, but the interior is also very beautiful in the vehicle. The screen is that floating screen that sits on top of the HVAC controls. It has a real shifter. All the lines are very elegant and nicely put together. I just think they did a beautiful job of it. If you get the brown sort of accented leather on the inside, that's great. I like the red colors that it comes in on the exterior as well. I'd like to see a little more variety on the interior colors. It's very conservative, I will say. Maybe they'll do some more crazy colors on the inside and exterior. The lighter colors on the interior are nice. But I live in a gloomy, very rainy part of the country, so I try to want to choose bright. I like black floor mats because don't get me wrong, there's nothing I hate more than having to clean the floor mats. But I think it's important having to clean a car, or have a brighter car on the inside. There is sort of a reddy, browny, maroon color on the XLE.
Reddy, browny, maroon color.
Yeah, what would you call it? Look at it. Look at the pictures. What color would you call that?
Like a mahogany.
No,
Yes.
it's Merlot. It's more like a Merlot.
No, that would be purplish. That's not purple.
Merlot's not purple.
Yes. Oh,
Look at it now. I've enlarged it.
mahogany.
It's got too much red in for mahogany.
Mahogany's red.
Mahogany's black.
Oh, my God. Okay, well, we'll talk about color charts later.
Hey, listen, my mother's a color expert. I know color. You can argue with her all day, I promise you.
I'm good. I don't want to argue with anybody.
Also, I've been driving this Ford Mustang Mach-E. So I went to buy lottery tickets yesterday. No, I didn't win. I went to buy lottery tickets yesterday, and I went to the little gas station around the corner from my house. And the gentleman, more like a dude, but I'll call him a gentleman, the gentleman who was working the pumps, because it was a bit chilly outside, was sitting in his 6-inch lifted big Ford truck that was missing several parts, like bumpers and wheel well parts, and had different wheels on it. It was a bit of a, in England we would call this a garden shed
What is
on
it?
wheels.
Built for
It was a bit of a
truck.
shed, and he was sitting in it, and he was a very nice guy.
Yeah.
He was a very nice guy. He was sitting in his shed, and I pulled in the electric Mustang, the Ford Mach-E, and as I was coming out with my tickets, he said, "What's that?" And he wasn't that old. Was that an old man's voice? He said, "Hey, what's that, man?"
There you go. That's better.
And I said, "That's." He says, "Is that a Mustang?" Before I even got the sentence,
Right.
"Is that a Mustang? It's got a Mustang badge on the front." I said, "Yes, it's the new electric Mustang." He goes, "Oh, I've never seen one before." And then I went to the hardware store to buy various nuts and bolts and bits and pieces, and there was people getting out of their trucks taking pictures of it.
Just like
And
Starbucks this
then-
morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you know how many Starbucks employees you can get out of the window of Starbucks?
We got them all.
Three of them. That little tiny window they serve the coffee
No,
out.
there was
Four leaning out the
Yeah,
window,
four
four
leaning
leaning
out
out the window at the same time. That's how many Starbucks employees you can get leaning out looking at the Ford Mach-E.
They love
It's
when
great.
Nick comes by. They're like, "Ooh, what car do you have today?"
Yeah, they're getting quite impressed about it too. And Luke, my buddy who works at the local Starbucks, he's a really super nice guy. He was on the headset taking orders, and he's super frustrated when I come through and he's on the headset because he can't talk to me because he has to take orders, right? So he's like, someone else take the headset. So he couldn't look at the Ford Mach-E. They were very impressed with the huge screen on the inside, and they're all good sort of save the planet boys and girls at my local Starbucks, and so they were very impressed that the interior was vegan.
Yes.
But I refused to eat it to show them it really was vegan. So it's a vegan
They're
interior.
soy cows.
Soy cows.
Cows that only
So they were
eat soy.
impressed with that. And then, so I've been driving the Venza, and then today I get delivered the Acura Mdx, the 2022.
I know. I
Can you
can't wait
believe?
to see
wait,
that.
we're in 2021,
Right.
and I'm having a 2022
It's
delivered,
the
and we're not even at the end of January.
Isn't
yet.
that the only 2022 right now?
I think so.
From what I could tell.
And I'm looking forward to that. But I
Yeah.
only get it for like a couple of days because then they take it away. So I'm going to be driving that this week. And then I have a whole slew of BMWs. I have the X6M, and I have a whole bunch of electric BMWs or plug-in hybrid BMWs coming too, like the 530e, which BMW, you might think there's people like Volvo out there that talk about they're going to do a whole bunch of, they're going to electrify all their vehicles and they're going to have plug-in hybrid versions. BMW already have pretty much every single one of their vehicles is a plug-in hybrid. So, take that, rest of the world. We're already doing it. So, we're already saving the planet. What are you doing? I mean, actually, it's about choices, isn't
I was
it?
going to say, wait a minute. You're saving the planet.
No, I'm not. I got a BMW X6M, which I happen to own. And so
and I have
take
all
that.
V8s. Take that.
Take that, planet. For every single BMW they're making that's a plug-in hybrid, Jen and I are actually counteracting it.
So thank you all for buying electric vehicles to
Now I feel,
cover our carbon footprint.
Now I feel like I'm evil and I've done something
Wait a
wrong,
minute.
and I should be punished.
Is your Bronco electric?
No.
Okay, just checking.
How dare you?
Well, I was just checking because
It-
you surprise me every once in a while.
It's only a 4-cylinder,
Oh, well.
but I did get the plates for it today.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
We're going for a ride.
All right, plenty more on the show coming your way. Now we've completely demoralized saving the planet in any way whatsoever. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the top news items as well, and we're also going to fill you in on some of the cool things that has been going on in the news, including recalls. Oh, you're so excited, I could tell. People just fell off their seats everywhere all over the country. How exciting is the show today? Plus, I'll tell you a little bit about driving the X6M and how 617 horsepower will make you want to put a towel down before you actually drive it. I'm serious. You have to. All right, that's coming up next.
You're listening to Our Auto Expert.
Our Auto Expert reaches thousands of people via downloads of our podcast, and many more actually stream it live. Our Auto Expert podcast is one of those things that makes listeners happy. You can get it via iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora app, Deezer, Podbean, Castbox, OurAutoExpert.com, and many more. Hours of endless fun await you. I'm Nick Miles, and this is Our Auto Expert radio show, where 2 million Americans get their automotive news daily, along with truck girl Jen. It's official. Fiat, Chrysler and PSA Group have now become Stellantis. The merger between the two brands is complete, making Stellantis the operator of 14 vehicle brands and the fourth biggest automaker in the world. The charter, they may drop some brands, including Chrysler. It's still a rumor, but not official. The FCA and PSA groups have completed their merger announced in 2020, creating the Stellantis Group, now the fourth biggest, and I think that is, as far as volume is concerned, Stellantis become the operating, of course, those 14 brands, and those includes the ones you're most familiar with, probably Chrysler, Fiat, Jeep, Ram, as well as Alfa Romeo, Peugeot, and Citroën.
Yeah, I always say that wrong.
Citroën or
Citroën.
Peugeot. My brother-in-law always says, don't slam the door too hard on a Citroen because the paint comes off. The merger allows the two companies to help produce a lot of vehicles together and reduce their research and development costs, particularly as the companies move towards electrification. The top 5 cars kept over 15 years just come from just one company. Take a guess?
Toyota.
Yeah, Toyota.
Well, no, they last forever.
They do.
So do Chevy trucks.
And yours maybe lasts forever, but the top 5 all come from Toyota.
I noticed that.
Over the average, 6.1% of Toyota Priuses are kept 2.2 times more than the average vehicle. 13.7% of 15 years, over 15 years. I think actually Toyota Priuses used to be really popular. I don't think
they're
anybody
still
really
pretty
they do. The Highlander is number 2, 12.4% of the older ones still with their first buyers. Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow. Twice as many as the average vehicle. The Tacoma, Sienna, and Tundra also fit in that list, lurking at 11% mark. That's interesting too. There are some of other Japanese brands that fall into that kept for the longest time. Honda CR-V, of course. Many of those kept with their original owners. The Pilot, that's next. Subaru Forester, Toyota 4Runner, Toyota Sequoia, are also included in that top 10 list.
Notice Civics aren't in there.
Yeah.
Because they're stolen all the time.
Well, it doesn't mean they don't last. They could last with the thieved owners.
I'm just talking about with
the guy that
first
stole them
owners.
could Toyotas and Hondas basically. People keep them forever.
I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, does that mean old people have Toyotas and Hondas? I don't know.
Probably.
That's funny when you look at it like that. It's officially dead. The Volkswagen Golf ends its production in the U.S. market, and the Golf GTI and Golf R, though, are still going. But the Golf itself is goodbye. Did you ever own a Golf?
No.
You had a Passat, didn't you?
No.
That was the one. What was your first car you owned?
Oh. The Renault Alliance.
Oh, that's the one you had for 20 minutes, right?
No. I had it for a good couple of years.
What was the one you got rid of immediately? You said you couldn't reach the pedals.
The Chevy not the Chevy, the Ford pickup truck.
Is that the one you couldn't reach the pedals?
Yeah, it didn't have power steering.
And you couldn't turn the wheel.
Yeah.
Do you notice, like, I like to bring up things that make you uncomfortable?
Oh, I don't care.
You don't?
Well, sometimes.
Is that the one you had to put blocks on the pedals so you could reach the pedals?
I felt really bad because my dad bought it, surprised me, and I felt pretty bad.
Right.
Did I tell you one year I got...
Did you ever think of getting, like, blocks on the bottom of your shoes? Like,
hey,
you know how you can get those shoes which are raised?
I was 16.
Yeah, you could have got platforms.
Okay. I might have
could have
grown
driven
an
with
inch
platforms.
since then.
You could have wore platforms to drive it.
Did I tell you my dad got me a flywheel one time for
Notice
Valentine's
Jordan
Day?
how she tries to change the subject anytime I talk about her
I'm trying to tell you a
height.
story and you're
I
ignoring
know,
me as
no,
usual.
No, I don't ignore you. It's just that anytime you don't want to talk about something, you just move along.
Whatever.
Just move along. Jordan notices. I'm not the only one that notices.
What person gets a flywheel for Valentine's Day that's got hearts
What are
on
we
it
talking
and
about?
stuff?
Anyway.
Isn't that great? It was the best present ever. See?
Was it a flywheel for short people?
You're not even paying attention.
Was it a
Do you know where
flywheel
the
for short
flywheel is
people?
even used for?
Is that a flywheel? What is a flywheel used for, Jen? Explain to us.
You know what? Let's go on to the next
No, do you
topic.
know? Do you know what a flywheel is used for?
Yeah, it was for my vehicle.
For flies. Is it used for flies? Is that what you're telling me? U.S. agencies order Ford to recall 3 million vehicles over airbags. The U.S. auto safety regulators said Tuesday it would require Ford a company to recall 3 million vehicles with potentially defective Takata airbags. Are we still talking about
Isn't
Takata?
this crazy? It's been like, what,
I'm
3 years
so
now?
over the Takata story.
Me too.
Like, can we just recall all Takata products and be done with it? The U.S. auto safety regulators are recalling them. The National Highway Safety Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA. By the way, if you want to know if your vehicle's on a recall list, go to nhtsa.gov. Type in your VIN number, and it will tell you if your vehicle's been recalled for everything. Ford and Mazda Corporation have the recalls outstanding for this airbag problem. Inflatable airbags, and people have been injured, so you should go and check it out. 2006 through 2012 models, various different models. You should go in and put it out. Man wins a Corvette C8 from Georgia Lottery, but the dealers don't have the car, so he's not getting it. I would be furious. I would just say, give me the cash. Give me the cash. If you can't provide the car, give me the cash. That's what I would have done. I mean, they have to provide the car. Why are they buying it from a Georgia dealer? They could call Shad in L.A. and he would deliver it to them.
I know.
It can't be just because they can't get it from a Georgia dealer. They could get it from any. There are dealers somewhere in the country that have them.
Yeah.
This is a ridiculous failure of the Georgia lottery. Somebody needs to be.
They need help.
Yeah. Some help in maybe job reassignment somehow. That's what I think. And the all-electric Ford Mustang enters production. Now, the all-electric Ford Mustang is going to enter production in 2028. So we're not talking about the Mach-E. We're talking about the regular Mustang. Mm-hmm. Is that the right terminology? The car Mustang. They're talking about having an electric version in 2028. We've had enough trouble over the Ford Mach-E, people complaining that it's not really a Mustang. I'm not sure. Well, everything's probably going to be electric by 2028, so let's shut up. Yeah. It's a long way away. That's 7 years away. A lot can change in 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
I could be famous and rich. I mean, stranger things have happened in the world.
And you're going to buy me my Corvette, right?
It'll probably be something else by that time. Corvettes will be run on manure by that time. There'll be alternative fuels everywhere. By that time,
I want it run by
Mitsubishis will be the hot car by that time.
I want it run by chocolate.
What a waste of chocolate.
No, don't you remember?
What a waste of chocolate.
The lady from Chocolate.
And again, what a waste of chocolate.
It was reclaimed chocolate. It was reclaimed chocolate.
Ew, how is it reclaimed?
Because
That's
she
disgusting.
reused it. It was bad chocolate. Remember, it was the leftovers.
Chocolate in mouth, fuel in car. That's all I have to say. All right, stand by. More show on the way. What have we got coming up? Cool stuff. That's all you need to know. Here it comes.
You're listening to the Our Auto Expert Podcast.
Locally created, nationally celebrated from the Northwest to the Southeast, this is the world's car radio show. If it has a throttle, we'll feature it on air, online, on smartphone, or on smart speaker. This is Our Auto Expert, where 2 million Americans get their automotive news daily. I'm your host, Nick Miles, along with truck girl Jen. Talking about some of the cars that we've been driving, I've been doing a lot of BMW testing recently. And you may have noticed, whether you've had the opportunity or not, that I think the first time that we saw this, BMW had a new grille with the Force, the M3 and the M4. Everybody has to update the looks of their vehicles on the outsides now and again. And if you're an owner, there's some difficulty that comes with that, of course. You often see some of these vehicles that you perhaps own, and you get a new vehicle, with a new grille with a new vehicle. And then you go, wait, it's updated and mine is now outdated. And you can get a little upset about that. You can say, my grille is no longer the newest and most modern grille in a vehicle. Then you can also be a fan of the vehicle and go, the vehicle's been modernized. I like how it looks. I mean, people do this with logos all the time. And Apple refreshes their logo. Recently, Kia refreshed their logo. I don't know. Do you like the new Kia logo?
I like the new Kia logo.
I have a problem with it. I mean, I grew up in Europe. I grew up in Europe. Mm-hmm. I saw the new, Russia is part of Europe. Mm-hmm. And then it looks, Russia, a lot of the letters in the Russian language look like they're backwards. And I look at the Kia logo and it looks like a backwards N, K and a backwards N instead of K-I-A.
I just cut the tops and the bottoms off, Nick. That's all I did.
It just, to me, the new Kia logo looks strange. Well, and then, of course, there's a new General Motors logo.
I am not happy about that.
See, I like the General Motors logo.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I am a firm believer in, bold lettering, and the big GM was... Now they went to baby...
See, I mean, we've already got the reaction from you
letters.
That we get... When a car company redesigns the face of their vehicles, how do you feel?
Depends upon how it looks.
Right, but all right, let's think of one when they redefined the face of the Silverado recently, like 2 years ago. How did you feel?
I think I liked that one.
You did?
Yeah. It was.
Name me something you don't like when they was redesigned some vehicles.
I think it was on the Silverado. It was a few years ago when they did the hood scoop design.
You didn't like that?
Only because I couldn't see over it.
All right, well, that was more of a mechanical problem.
Right. I can see where you're looking at that now. It looks like kin. I get it. Kin.
The Kia logo looks like K-I or K-N. A K and a backwards N.
Yeah, I see that now.
I can't get that out of my head. When I first saw it, it looks like K and then a backwards N. Mm-hmm. If you're near a computer, go type in new Kia logo and have a look at it.
But the GM logo, they changed those bold letters to
they did lowercase and then they underscored the M. I'm not quite sure why they decided to underscore the M. I haven't seen the reasoning for that.
It's soft.
You think so?
Yeah.
See,
lowercase
I think
so soft.
Lowercase is modern now. Uppercase is old.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Then I guess I'm just old.
Well, we know that. So it's the same when you redesign vehicles. When you redesign vehicles, people get upset about it, and they don't like redesigns. So back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Several BMWs have got redesigned grilles.
What do you think about that one? The 4 Series.
So the 4 Series is what we were talking about.
Right.
The 4 Series grille has been redesigned, and we will probably see this on multiples. We first saw it on the 3M and the 4M. Mm-hmm. And when I say this to people, when you look at the front of the new BMW grilles, it looks like an angry rabbit.
Okay, I think I told you what I.
Doesn't it look like an angry rabbit? Just look at it right now.
I am. It looks like a pig nose.
You don't think it looks like an angry rabbit?
No. No. It's not kidney bean anymore. It's more like.
Well, it is kidneys, but it's
big
very
nostrils.
it's kidneys, but it's kind of squished and elongated kidneys. I guess the kidney grill would what it used to call it. But look, see here. Don't you think that looks like an angry rabbit? It looks like rabbit teeth.
Okay. I can see how.
When I
see
tell
that.
people the new BMW grill looks like an angry rabbit, they go, "Oh yeah." But after I've said that,
I think it looks like pig nostrils.
I love it. I love it.
I like the lights.
Now, I had this. I had the 430i out of the fleet. I love it. I like the even numbers. If you didn't know how the BMW nomenclature works, even numbers,
Yeah.
you know what nomenclature means.
Of course I do.
Okay, good. Just checking. If you don't know how the BMW nomenclature is, when you have even numbers, it's the coupe
Okay.
style. When you have odd numbers, it's the sedan style. Right? So the 3 is a sedan, the 4 is a coupe. Now, it could be a 4-door coupe. Doesn't have to be a 2-door. So it could be a 4-door coupe, but it's the roof slope. Right?
Okay.
So I like the even numbers. I like the 4, the 6, the 2. I like the coupe styles.
Okay.
So I like the coupe numbers, but I love the 4 Series. I love the new grille. Had the 530e, which is the plug-in electric. It has the old style grille in it, the old kidney-shaped grille. I had to go back to the old grille after the new grille. That was hard.
Oh my god.
After having the new grille on a BMW, that was hard. It was hard to go back in time.
Wow, Nick. Wow.
I couldn't get to sleep at night. I had to take sleeping medication. I'd wake up cold sweats. I had to put the pillow over my head. I cried a little at night.
Okay.
It was tough.
I like the was it the X6M?
The other one I have, that's my
I like
new
that
car.
grill.
Yeah.
I like it a lot better.
But that's slightly different. It's an SUV grill.
I know, but I like it.
Have you ridden in it yet?
No.
Okay, you'll need to put a towel down for that. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show.
Okay.
It'll frighten the...
Well, if
living-
you're driving, anything will frighten me, but maybe I should drive it by myself.
It will frighten the living soul out of you. 617 horsepower.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
When can I drive it?
Oh, anytime you want.
Yay!
If you put a towel down. I don't
need a towel, thanks.
You will. You'll sweat.
I'll need a pillow.
You'll sweat. Phone books. It comes with... You know
You
what?
know they
Do you
don't
know-
make phone books anymore, really. You know that, right?
You know, but Volvo have child booster seats embedded inside the seats.
Well, I'll call Russell.
You could get a Volvo car with child booster seats in them.
Perfect.
Oh, they
I
don't make
can
them in the
drive.
front. They don't make
Like
them in
I
the
said,
front.
I can drive
no.
a Volvo just fine.
Yeah, they
thanks.
don't make them in the front. You're out of luck. So anyway, the BMW 4 Series, I think, is one spectacular piece of machinery. BMW introduced it actually last year. It's a 2021. They're not cheap. I mean, the $47,600 is the starting price for the 430 X-Drive, the I. $58,000 for the M version. And the interior, lots and lots of high tech in these vehicles now. They're not messing around, these guys. Big screens, heads-up display, the same as a fighter jet. You know, BMW, look at that. Just look at that picture. Just look, don't, you cannot tell me that isn't the most
I'm
beautiful
looking
car
at
you've never seen.
I'm looking at the green one. I like the green one.
It's got to be different, don't you? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's a 2-door version.
Yeah, I like that angle better with the grill.
All new second generation BMW 4 Series. There's a 2-door coupe, more power, torque, performance. It's a lot more than previous generation. Loads more safety features, starting around 45 for the 2-door. I will tell you that I couldn't be more in love with this vehicle. But you either love or you hate the new grille. Lexus have done something, and Toyota and Lexus are doing something interesting, especially with the Toyota lineup. Every single one of their trim levels now gets a different grille. So you could be able to look at a Toyota and go, oh, that's that trim level.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making some of them more sporty looking. Some of them are blacked out. Some of them are chrome. It's interesting, too. I noticed with the Kia, with the new Sorento,
Yeah.
you have the X-Line, which is kind of their more off-roady trim. It's kind of like we go camping for the weekend. We can a bit more sort of saddle leather on the inside, a bit more rough and ready, go camping, get a dog hair in the back, that sort of thing. And then they have their They're high-end trim levels for sort of more out-around town posh events. Not that we're going anywhere because of COVID. Sophisticated.
Yes.
Yeah, ball gown type
Elegance.
stuff. More elegance, but that has more chrome. Which are you? Because I'm a more X-line kind of going out with the dogs in the country and that sort of thing, more than I am sophisticated restaurants, $150 steaks.
It just depends for me. I don't know.
You're a $150 steak girl?
No.
If someone else is paying.
No,
if I'm paying, probably. If I'm paying, she's a $150 steak girl.
No, I'm not actually. I'm very conservative when it comes
you?
to that. Yeah, I kind of
Well,
actually
it doesn't mean you're not conservative.
I kind of like both of them. How about that?
Split personality.
No, just
Yeah.
a Libra.
I'm sure you're not Aquarius.
Positive.
Split personality.
No, I am even.
You're even. You're well balanced.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lie.
Okay, and the next car is.
I'm just telling you right now. Plug-in hybrids too. I like the idea that BMW actually have a huge stable of pretty much every vehicle they make. I think comes in a plug-in hybrid. Even their SUVs, the 3, the 5, they all come in plug-in hybrids. I'm working my way through the entire fleet, trying to test drive as many as I possibly can, because I'm very impressed the fact that they have so many plug-in hybrid vehicles. In BMW's nomenclature, if it has an E after the name of the car, it's a plug-in hybrid version. They're just combining the plug-in hybrid. The i3 is, they have a whole bunch of new cars coming this year. The 4i, which is going to be their 4 Series, electric is coming this year as well.
Huh.
There is an awful lot coming for them. And then, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this.
Probably
I'm going
not.
to tell you anyway. There's new Minis coming this year. The end of this month, there is a new Mini 2-door hardtop and a Mini 4-door hardtop, I believe. So stand by. We've been waiting. This seems like a long time. And Mini takes the States this year too. Yeah.
Okay, so if you can have any BMW car, which would it be?
X6M. Thank you and good night.
M4 GT4. Good night.
Yeah. How much is that going to cost you?
Hey, I didn't say you had to buy it. I just said which one would you?
260. No. Yeah. Who can have?
I
Who's
want
buying
that.
it? Because I'm not. It's like anything else. I'm buying your steak. I'm buying your car. Clearly. All right. Stand by. More Our Auto Expert on the way.
You're listening to Our Auto Expert.
Catch up with previous episodes of the show, our website, ourautoexpert.com. You can hear all past shows, see automotive videos, and read insider car stories about your next ride. Our Auto Expert is where 2 million Americans get their automotive news daily. You'll find it all at ourautoexpert.com. Of course, we like to talk about tech since what would have been CES has come and gone. This year was moved to a virtual online event. But it doesn't stop the tech rolling out all the time. Vince Galante is the chief of user experience at Stellantis, which is what Fiat Chrysler Automobiles used to be. And he is also an expert. I hope this is right, Vince, because if not, you're going to be an expert in the next few seconds. You're also an expert in the new Stellantis Amazon Alexa experience. It seems to be a trend, Vince, of everybody wanting to get Amazon as part of their vehicles, because it's sort of part of our lives in the home, and why shouldn't it be part of our lives outside of the home as well, right?
Correct, yeah. I think, when we talk about future tech and cars and future user experiences, it's all about, the experience used to be just about the in-vehicle experience, but now with the new technologies, it's getting really exciting. We can start to bridge together our customers' entire digital world. So it's really an exciting time.
One of the things,
automotive.
one of the things I don't like to have to do is to learn new things in different places, right? So you learn one thing for your phone, you learn one thing for your house, you learn one thing for your car. If you can sort of keep the same parameters in every way, it sort of helps you. It just sort of helps carry one thing to the other. I get annoyed because around the house we have an Alexa in every single room, and we have to call them by different names because otherwise they listen in other rooms and do things in the wrong room.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's annoying. It's highly annoying. And then if the internet goes down, so it went down the other morning and my alarm goes off at 3:30 a.m. because I'm doing television in the morning, and it goes off at 3:30 a.m. and I say, hey Alexa, cancel alarm, and she won't turn it off because the internet's down. So I have to actually physically unplug the alarm. So there's nuances in everybody's life. But a little bit.
But
go on.
Yes, I know. As I say, I think the one of the things we strive for is to bring consistency through all of our systems, and I think by bringing Alexa into our new Uconnect 5 system, I think that just takes that familiarity from the home and brings it into the car. So it just makes that so much more seamless and more easier for everybody that uses it.
Now, tell us a little bit about one of the things I think that it's able to do now is you're able not just to have, because it used to be you would be able to have one system in the car, but now Alexa can sort of be the supporting system or the lead system. It can sort of be a multiple use, right? Whereas I know in past I've only been able to have Alexa or the in-car system, but I noticed with the new ones you're able to have both systems. Is that right?
Yeah, we're looking. Our Uconnect 5 system does have two voice controls in it. One of them is Alexa, as we mentioned, and one of them is the Cerence system that controls a lot of the vehicle functions, so we call it. And then with wireless CarPlay or wireless Android Auto, you can have Google Assistant and Siri as well. So with Amazon, just how do we bring those together? And again, make it so you're talking to one consistent system. So.
That's huge. I can't tell you that's like, to me, that's the light went on suddenly, because I've had systems before where you've not been able to do that, and that makes a huge difference. So, are you a designer, or are you a lead technician? Are you the guy that puts pen to paper? Are you still able to draw a good circle, or are you, once you get to your level of brilliance, do you end up just filling out HR paperwork? Where are you at?
No. Yeah, I still get to draw from time to time. It's mostly, I have a really, really experienced team underneath me that we are growing rapidly, and we're bringing in all kinds of new and interesting skill sets that you'd never seen in the automotive industry before. I have user experience designers, of course, but now we're finding that some of them have also undergrad or background in psychology, so that's really given us some good insight into our customers. I'm bringing, we mentioned about Alexa or other consumer types of technology that people are used to, and bringing that into the vehicle. So we're actually hiring interaction designers that have experience in mobile and web, and trying to bring that knowledge to us. And one that is pretty fun is, now you're starting to see, like in our new Grand Cherokee L, a lot of digital displays, the 10-inch cluster, the heads-up display, in addition to the radio. So we're actually bringing in entertainment and gaming designers to help us to, understand the new and cool ways to visualize that in the car. Of course, to make it look really new and modern and fresh, but at the same time, it really bringing that realistic type of visualization helps the customers understand the system better too. So I do get to, I still get to sketch here and there, but for the most part, it's the people on my team are much better than me.
But that's the same way as manager. Do you get to do the 10 million feet view, and you sit there and you go, how does the customer experience this, and sort of guide people through, and you put it through the customer experiences as sort of the head of tech and lead designer, you try and put yourself in the customer's shoes?
All the time, yeah. And like we have specialists that focus on this area or that area within the car, within the digital type of user journey. So yeah, I'm basically kind of looking over everything and making again, bringing that consistency throughout every step that a customer might see, and just trying to everybody on my team is always looking at customers, doing user testing, looking at research,
right,
and trying to take all of those different inputs and see if there's some bigger, larger level trends that we can.
I get it. Look, in my humble opinion, the Uconnect system has always led the world in infotainment, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Are you leading the world still? Are you still leading the world? Will you lead the world? Are you going to conquer this far faster than your competition?
Well, we never stop. So I'll say we never stop. We're always exploring. We're always trying new things. Now that with the Uconnect 5 system, we've got Android operating system. We've got over-the-air updates. So we can continue to improve the system. We don't have to wait for vehicle launches anymore.
Right.
We can improve it over time. So
yeah.
The competition's tough out there. So we got to stay on our toes a bit, and we're not afraid to try new methods, bring in different diverse skill sets like we talked about, and even different types of tools and software to create designs. So I think
I'm
we gotta stay on our
excited.
toes.
I'm excited, Vince. It's great to talk to you. Vince Galante from the Chief User Experience. By the way, Vince, the one thing I want is an espresso machine in my vehicle. So if you can make that part of the Uconnect, I'll be very happy with you. We'll talk to you.
I love me some coffee. So
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Our Auto Expert. Thank you.
You're listening to the Our Auto Expert podcast.
This is Our Auto Expert Radio Show. Our Auto Expert is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Catch up with previous episodes of the show and start a conversation with us. Just ask us a question. Direct messages at Our Auto Expert. Our Auto Expert is where 2 million Americans get their automotive news daily. He joins us every single week to talk about what's going on in the automotive segment, as well as EVs, autonomous cars, and, of course, the business segment of all of the automakers across the entire world. Anton Wahlman, he's an independent analyst and investor. You can read the majority of his stuff at The Street and Seeking Alpha. So Anton, taking a 1 million foot view of what's going on at the market as far as we're concerned. Tesla sold 500,000 cars, all EVs, in 2020. What's the goal for 2021?
Yeah, so Nick, basically not only do we now have the results for calendar year 2020, but we're also starting to get the automakers' expectations, including their own expectations, as well as that of the Wall Street consensus, the major banks that have as their job to track and grade all of these companies. And it looks like most expectations are, both internally and externally, for Tesla to increase their sales by about 60% in 2021. That would take them from the 500,000 cars that they sold worldwide in 2020 to 800,000 cars for this new year, 2021.
Realistic or not realistic?
You know, I think it's broadly realistic. I think that as an automaker, just like any other purveyor of widgets, you can have a variance in your ability to sell any number of widgets based on the price. So if Tesla just chooses to discount its vehicles to a certain degree, they certainly could sell more of them. I think they will have the production capacity, certainly, to sell at least 800,000 vehicles for 2021, and their ability to sell them will depend on, you guessed it, the price.
Now, supply and demand is always the thing here. You have to buy supplies. You have to take raw materials in, pay your workforce, pay your bills to do that, and then pay off your debt. Does the math work out that Tesla is going to pay down their debt, or does that mean borrowing more money? Because they have huge debt to get themselves into this production situation that they're in right now, but ultimately people are investing and buying Tesla shares in the hope that the company turns out to be profitable one day. Does that profit margin, does that increase in sales work forward to the company becoming solvent?
Clearly right now, Tesla is the luckiest company in the world because they have achieved a valuation that is greater than all the other automakers combined, despite having less than 1% of the total automotive market. And investors seem not care about the fact that Tesla barely makes a profit, and if you subtract out the government subsidies, the so-called emissions credits, they're actually not making money at all. So they're able essentially to raise equity at very favorable prices. So Tesla doesn't need to borrow money anymore. What they do is that they issue billions and billions of dollars in new equity by selling new shares at these enormously inflated prices. So as a result, Tesla has no problem at all at the moment to finance whatever they want to do. They can build multiple new factories. They can sell cars below cost if they want to in great quantities. And seemingly the market doesn't care. So they will be fine, at least under the current conditions.
Now, obviously, with a new government in power in the United States and Buttigieg now, the guy who's in charge of transportation, does that make a difference to the Tesla model in North America, or does their days of those credits and incentives look like they're numbered for Tesla?
Well, I think you have to look at what difference it makes in terms of sales and market share versus what difference it will make to their valuation in the eyes of investors. I think that to the extent that the U.S. government, the federal government, now will put on more stringent quotas and regulations for selling more EVs, that will increase the competition for Tesla and it will reduce their market share. On the other hand, the perception in the market in terms of the investors having a perception is that the main beneficiary of any such new legislation will be Tesla. So even though Tesla will lose under such conditions market share in the real market among consumers, they can actually gain in the eyes of Wall Street, perversely enough.
All right. The goal for VW Group, who sold 231,000 EVs in 2020 for 2021, is coincidentally perhaps the same, or is strangely enough 800,000?
That's right, Nick. Basically, as it turns out, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not, but Volkswagen came out just the other day and said that they intend to grow almost 250% in terms of their EV sales in 2021. They did sell 231,000 units worldwide in 2020, and they will grow that, they say, to 800,000 this year. So if these projections both remain true, then for all of calendar year 2021, Tesla and the Volkswagen Group will be on equal footing, but Tesla will only have grown by 60%, up from 500,000, whereas the Volkswagen Group will have grown about 250%, up from 231,000, to reach their similar goals of 800,000 for this year.
Now, their projections tend to be much more realistic than Tesla's, right?
Well, I mean, in this case, I think that both numbers sound eminently realistic. Actually, I think these are sort of the numbers that the people who are actually studying them on the ground in all of the major theaters, Europe, Asia/China, and North America, would probably come up with. I do think that investors on Wall Street seem not to fully comprehend yet how quickly and how massively Volkswagen started catching up already in the second half of 2020 and will be completely caught up in 2021. I think that is where the gap is right now, but I'm not going to be surprised, and some other people aren't going to be surprised. Investors in general may be a bit surprised when they finally realize what is happening here on the ground.
All right, let's just recap then. So Volkswagen Group already surpassed Tesla in Europe for 2020, but the main battleground for 2021 might be China. Of course, with a U.S. government change in the United States now, with the Biden administration coming in, things may change as far as U.S. relationships to China are concerned. Does that change how U.S. companies like Tesla fare in China?
Yeah, so in China, I think the die has been cast for some time now. Volkswagen has been in the process of building new EV factories for the last few years, and they're really firing them up in a big way, pretty much as we speak. So throughout 2021, they're launching a long list of models in China, pure battery electric vehicles. I can hardly keep track of them. There are so many of them, but you could think of the Volkswagen ID.4, which just started selling in a couple of European countries in late December, as the centerpiece of this attack, but it's far from the only model. There will be many, many more Volkswagen models, at least one or two from Audi and so forth. So China will be a huge battleground in 2021 between these two companies, and clearly while Volkswagen will make now their initial deliveries of the ID.4 in the United States and Canada also in 2021, it'll still be a very small year for Volkswagen in North America, and for that matter, many other automakers too. 2021 will still be a pretty small year. So U.S. is going to be more of a 2022 year in terms of taking away very significant market share away from Tesla. Clearly, Tesla in North America in 2021 will lose some market share, but they will still be the market share leader in North America. In China, well, we'll see. That could be a very different story because you have so many players, Volkswagen and many, many others, including, of course, all of the domestic Chinese brands that will be eating away at Tesla very hard here, pretty much starting as we speak.
Now, it's sort of old news. We're waiting for so many of these electric vehicles to show up in the United States. It seems to be taking forever for them to actually make their appearances, but there may have been some sightings of a vehicle which is a little bit overdue now, but the Rivian truck seems to starting to emerge in the United States. There's been several photographs on websites around the United States showing this vehicle being testing. Is its release, is its marketing imminent? I mean, I don't see Rivian stores going up anywhere.
No, but they say they will be delivering this vehicle sometime later this year. And as a matter of fact, in a pure coincidence, just last night, I actually saw the very first one myself driving out in the wild. I had a minor heart attack just seeing that light signature coming at me in the dark. This was, after sunset last night, and it's like, wow, that is really distinguished. And I, of course, only caught a couple of seconds worth of a glimpse at it, and there are no surprises in the look of this vehicle because it looks exactly the same as we have all been led to believe and we have been shown so far. But that front light signature is very, very distinctive, and clearly they're out testing it because I can tell you I saw one myself less than 24 hours ago.
All right. In the 1 minute we have left, it looks like the G4xE may be a little more expensive than we'd initially thought.
Well, the plug-in hybrid Jeep Wrangler called the 4xE just went on sale. You can order it now on the Jeep website, and it starts a hair below $50,000. But as you know, with all Jeep Wranglers, you click a few boxes and poof, you're at $60,000, and well beyond that, I think you can go up to about as high as $67,000. But it's there now, so this will be a very exciting vehicle, and clearly unlike anything else in the market. For those of us who bought the first generation Chevy Volt 10 years ago, this is the off-road, all-wheel drive Chevy Volt, at least conceptually. So this is really a beautiful day for those of us who are plug-in vehicle enthusiasts in this world.
Is it on your shopping list?
Could very well be. Haven't decided yet, but certainly it's in terms of the want factor, it's very high up.
All right. It looks nice to me, but I'm sure maybe $67,000 even after or even before a $7,500 U.S. federal tax rebate might be a little rich for my blood. However, I do own a Bronco already, so we'll have to think about that very clearly. Anton Wahlman, independent analyst and investor. You can read the majority of his stuff at The Street and Seeking Alpha. He always has all the inside information about what's happening in Europe, in China, and in the United States when it comes to autonomous vehicles and, of course, electric vehicles, and when it comes to companies on the inside. There is more. Our Auto Expert at the web, ourautoexpert.com, or right now in the show.
You're listening to Our Auto Expert.
Over 10,000 people downloaded Our Auto Expert podcast, and many more stream at the Our Auto Expert podcast. Join the happy listeners by iHeart, Spotify, Pandora app, Deezer, Podbean, Castbox, and OurAutoExpert.com. Hours of endless fun await you. I'm Nick Miles, and this is Our Auto Expert radio show. 2 million Americans get their automotive news daily from Our Auto Expert. So we've been pretty much in the BMW camp all day today, talking about some of the fun BMWs we've been testing over the last few weeks. BMW's most powerful V8 engine is in the vehicle that I just got hold of and is now one of my permanent stable. I have to tell you, one of the things that the pandemic has taught me, Jen, is there's no time to waste in life. You got to get these cars and own them and have them if you want them. Now, I have a bit of a secret. You can get hold of these cars fairly cheaply from auction. Now, 2020s, and then you resell them wholesale and you don't lose much money. So I've decided to go through all the cars I want to own in my life and just do it. Because if you wait, you get old, you don't have a chance to enjoy things. Who knows what will happen to you when you become too old. I bought my first motorcycle from a man who was 63 years old and decided he was not sharp enough to ride his motorcycle anymore. And it was actually a sad day for me because his motorcycle career was over. And I realized that I had to do things now that I may not be able to do later in my life. And so now I have 3 motorcycles and I have a bunch of cars and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it while I can, because at some point it won't be a good idea to do it anymore. It won't be safe. I have friends now who used to ride motorcycles a lot. Now they're in their 50s and they have kids and they're like, no, it's too dangerous. I don't want to do it anymore. So you should take your life by both hands and enjoy the things while you can before it's too late. So I really wanted to own one of my favorite cars in the whole world, which is a BMW X6M. And so now it's in my driveway and I have it and I couldn't be happier. 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 delivers 617 horsepower. It is mind-bogglingly crazy. It gives you an unbelievable drive. I can't even explain to you how much fun it is. I mean, you could go to simple things like all of the different colors. Actually, the one I own is in the Amatrin Metallic, which is basically a dark red.
Merlot.
Yeah, it's a dark Merlot. Merlot. a dark malot color. Malot.
Oh, God. It's not, what is it, like Camelot?
Camelot. It has the M buttons on it. The M Steptronic automatic transmission switches from smooth to aggressive with a 3-stage drivetronic system. It switches to manual mode. You can take your hands on control with the steering wheel. It has mounted paddle shifters. There are a couple of things that I don't like about it.
Oh,
shifting is annoying.
Really?
Yeah, you
Something
have to.
you don't like?
You have to the shifting is difficult. You have to, shift twice, and it always wants to go into manual mode and that sort of thing. Paddle shifting is easier, actually, by the way.
I like it regular.
Ergonomic performance seats. It sounds amazing if you put it in the M mode, in the M1 mode. If I've pre-programmed it for that. 617 horsepower is really difficult to explain to someone. It's just much easier to experience it in the four-wheel drive sport mode. The rear biased driving. I mean, it sounds amazing. It performs amazingly. Connected cockpit. It makes so much beautiful noise when you drive it. And I've taken a few people for rides in it, and they're like, "Oh, this thing is amazing." I know I like SUVs. Don't get me wrong, but you're either in love with coupe-style SUVs or you hate them. Are you a lover or a hater of coupe SUVs?
I like some and I don't like some.
Oh, you're a weirdo. You're halfway across the line. You're a step in one way and a step the other. You're a line crosser?
I like the ones that look more, I guess, coupe-ish, I guess, than the ones that look more wagony looking. I know.
Oh, okay.
That makes
Standard
sense.
live cockpit, professional. Professional includes a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, heads-up display, presenting navigation, shift indicators, a rev counter. In the M specific configuration, you can change all those things. Of course, it's connection like never before. It has the latest iDrive 7.0 operating system, fully integrated with the standard BMW intelligent personal assistant. I took the guy that helps us, because we're building the studio in front of the house right now.
It's exciting.
So we have Rigo, who's the guy that's helping us with our landscaping.
Mm-hmm.
He has his 7-year-old son, who's also called Rigo, and he watches me on YouTube. He watches all my TV segments, and he comes over, and I offer to take him for a ride. He loves it. He can't even see over the dash. He's 7. Cute. He's awesome. He's just a really cool kid, and he videoed the whole thing on his phone, and he really thought it was cool. But you know what he was most impressed by?
What?
Gesture control. Because you can turn the radio up by doing your finger in a circular motion. But the thing he was most impressed about, so we had it on Sirius Hits 1 because he wanted to listen to music, and he's like, get this song, get that song, get this song. You know how 7-year-olds are. And so the thing he was most impressed about was if you do this, like a hitchhiker, you thumb with your thumb, like you're trying to hitch a ride, it changes the channel up. And if you thumb with your left hand and you thumb the other direction, it changes the channel down. So you go channel up, channel down, channel. I felt like I was 70s dancing or something.
You look like you're 70s dancing.
Thanks very much. I wasn't
Staying
even alive.
alive.
I wasn't even
Staying
alive in
alive.
the 70s. Anyway, so the connected advanced active protection systems. Because according to Jen, if you drive like me, it has lane departure warning, active blind spot detection, and lots more systems to make sure that Jen is safe in the car, even though she's screaming all the way down.
My favorite is when you park.
Why?
Okay, so they always have those indicators like, hello, you're too close. And it just keeps going until it just stops itself. It's like,
Slams on the brake?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what they're for, aren't they? Automatic
look,
braking
curb.
systems. And the curb's there to stop you too. I mean, what else is it there for? What's the curb there for? To hold the soil into the landscaping?
I'm
No,
the
it's
one
there
who
to stop
parks
you.
like six inches away or a foot away from the curb. Nick
and
likes
you're the one that
curbs.
has a 6-inch lifted truck that could take the curb and mush the
That's right.
landscaping without any trouble.
And I wouldn't do it.
And I wouldn't do it because I'm a good girl.
That's right.
And Nick's a bad boy.
Yeah, that's right.
Finally. Professional package. It gives you even more high-tech capabilities like the extended traffic jam assist and active lane keeping assist. Who wants lanes? The lines are there to be crossed.
You
That's
know what I
say.
like about this?
What?
I like
Nothing?
that No, I like
$108,600. What?
I like the stitching.
You do?
Yeah, the M's, the
God,
M stitching.
Jordan, I could not agree with you more. Jordan's eyebrows just with a whole story there. 617 horsepower, $108,600 MSRP, and Jen likes the stitching.
Super important.
You know what? It's got to be classy all the way.
2 against 1, Jen.
Hey, I'm all about the big engine and I'm all about the horsepower.
But
know
apparently
that.
the stitching is more important.
Well, red and blue and yellow.
If it was yellow and gray, you'd be happier, wouldn't you?
Yellow and black.
Yellow and black?
Yeah.
I thought the Steelers' colors were yellow and gray.
No. Black and yellow and black. Do you not see my coat? My sweatshirt?
Nobody cares.
My purse?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Steelers.
I do.
Nobody, yeah. Nobody
That's
cares
all that
about the
matters.
Steelers. Nobody cares about
I do.
617 horsepower. What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
More of this show can be heard at ourautoexpert.com. Many things. And you can also listen to previous episodes of the show and check out our videos at ourautoexpert.com. I love you. Goodbye.
You've been listening to Our Auto Expert with Nick Miles. Find all the show episodes at ourautoexpert.com. Please follow us on all social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Our Auto Expert, and message us for a quick and witty response.